financial problems, elder law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by Thav Gross. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Quick intros. Brian Small, my co-host, good to see you.
A pleasure to be here, Ken.
Pat Simasco, nice to have you back at the office,
Thanks,
our
man.
elder law expert.
Thank you.
Special guest appearing on this show and the next show, and hopefully a regular in the future, Cliff Russell.
Honored to be here.
Cliff is host of the Cliff Russell Show on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation, weekdays 2 to 4 p.m.
Right.
And we do together Law and Reality Now, Thursdays 3 to 4 p.m.
Absolutely. You come to my house, it's good to finally come to your house.
I've been trying to get Cliff over here. We've been working on schedules. We finally got him here. It's great to have you.
Good to be here.
We have his picture.
That's right. Did you notice your
Right,
picture?
I did not. Hey, that is me.
That's a good picture of you, too.
Okay, I'll accept that.
Clean shaven on that picture.
Yeah, a little different than I look now, but this too will
All right,
change.
you're looking good.
Yeah,
You're looking
thank you.
good.
Thank you.
All right, here's the plan. Kids are back to school. Weather is beginning to turn. It's time to get serious about life. So in this segment, we're going to talk about a case study with John and Laura. We're going to call it It's Time to Get Serious. John and Laura have some financial issues, and they're coming in, and we're going to analyze it. Brian's going to play a major role in figuring out what the best way to solve their problem is. I'm going to help. You guys are going to kind of chime in with questions to see if we're making any sense here. But here's the basic facts. John's 46, Laura's 42. They've got 2 children, 12 and 13. They've got 1 dog and 1 cat. I figured those are essential facts to try and personalize this,
Right.
but we're not going to name the dog and cat, at least at this stage. Here's their assets. They have a house. It's worth $250,000.
Let me stop you just for a quick second and just tell the whole audience that by the end of this, John and Laura and the kids still get to keep the dog and the cat.
Oh, they're worried about that.
No problem there?
No
they're
problem
worried
there.
about
I just
that.
want that to be known.
The cat does come into play if you're trying to discharge student debt, as I
Right.
recall
Well,
from conversations you and I have
It
had.
does.
But we're not going to be. We're not
And
going to
if
be.
you have a
there.
dog and cat, it's like they're 2 of your kids too. So
Absolutely.
You can't get rid of them.
Sometimes nicer than your kids.
Yes.
Because the dog is always happy to see you come home. Okay. The cat could care less usually. All right, the house is worth $250,000, but there's a first mortgage of $255,000 on it, and there's a second mortgage of $30,000.
And that $30,000 mortgage is used for all the medical expenses for the dog and the cat.
Probably so.
Pet bills, right?
Yeah.
Now, John has an IRA, $45,000. Laura has an IRA, $155,000. So they've got some retirement money. They've got cash in the bank of $7,000. Their furniture, let's say it's worth about $10,000. Their total assets, $467,000. But they've got these 2 mortgages, so they're underwater in their house. Here's where their problems come in. They got $75,000 of credit card debt.
Woo.
Medical bills, $25,000. Student loans, $45,000. Their liabilities are $430,000. Their net worth today is $37,000. But their big problem is their budget is blown because of this credit card debt and the medical bills. They got $6,000 a month coming in. Their mortgage payments, $2,550 on the first mortgage, $300 on the second. Student loan payments, they're paying $350. Car payments, $375, $355. Credit cards, $1,750 a month. That's a killer.
Wow.
$300 on the medical bills. Gas and fuel, $450 a month. Food and clothing, $250. Utilities, $500. Miscellaneous, $500. Their expenses are $76.80 a month. They're negative $1,680 a month. That's why the credit cards are up to $75,000. They're just about at the max. They're sitting there, they're bickering, they're not happy. The only one that's smiling in the house is the dog.
Right.
And we need to figure out what to do.
That $1,750 won't even pay off the principal ever, will it? That's probably just close to minimum
Well,
payment?
that is the minimum
That is the
payments,
minimum
and when you
payments.
look at the minimum payments and you look at your credit card statement, there's a box on every credit card statement that shows you what would happen if you just pay the minimum monthly payment. And the average number of years to pay off your minimum monthly payment is between 24 and 39. It depends on as
I
your
see
balance.
39 a lot.
Especially with, I hate to use a credit card name. Oh yeah, Discover. Discover is the worst because their interest
your
rate,
opinion.
in my opinion, in their interest rate is high and their minimum monthly payment is actually low. So
So it extends
the
it to
combination
the
of the
next.
fact is that then your $40,000 Joe to Discover becomes $110,000 by the time you're done.
So that,
Why would they do that?
that $200 shirt you bought is going to end up costing $3,000 at the end of the.
Pretty
So
much.
The important thing is that you must really like that shirt.
Well, it does fit you once, and then you goes out of style.
You have to make sure that it fits you forever.
Forever, yeah.
Okay, and then hopefully the styles will come back.
That's what it is, yeah.
I hear bell bottoms are coming back soon.
Eventually, everything comes back. I'm still waiting on the bell bottoms in the closet.
Yeah,
All right, so
get a
obviously,
bad rap. They were pretty comfortable.
The bell bottom.
yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They were nice.
Before
and you
my
had the real super wide ones, and then you had the the
exactly.
little ones that
They were
flared
called
out.
flares.
I had
exactly.
those
You had the super wides.
with the
Hey,
white
get-
socks with the
Before
red
Brian- I
line
think
on.
Guess
Before your
what?
time.
Before my time.
Yeah, I was right in that era. So was Cliff for sure.
I was.
Right.
All right, so the house
Still
is underwater.
Yeah.
It's worth less than the first mortgage. We've got student loan debt. I know that's non-dischargeable. You got credit card.
All right, let's start off with
we're
a couple.
coming up to a break, but we got about a minute. Give us your overview, and then I want you to get, when we come back from the break, I want you to get down to the nitty-gritty.
Well, overview is opportunity. John and Laura have two choices and two roads they can walk down. They can walk down a Chapter 7 road or a Chapter 13 road. Each are going to accomplish different goals, and each are going to allow them to get rid of the majority of their debt, if not all of their debt except for the student loans.
Well, let me just ask you a quick question before you get, because I know John and Laura are worried about this, and anyone who's watching this. What about their IRAs? Because they've got a lot
No
of
matter
money
which
in
way,
retirement.
no matter which road we go down, they keep their IRAs.
They keep them, and they continue to earn interest on them, and they continue to grow.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's an important thing, because you know what they're thinking about doing? They're thinking about busting their IRA, taking that money, and paying off their credit cards.
That's the third row
John and
that
Laura,
they're probably going to take.
Don't do that.
Don't do it, John.
We'll be back after the break.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
Worth Ave Gross, our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Thav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your savings, and more. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Samasco Law wants you to know that laws are changing. Today, the average cost of nursing home care is $85,000 a year. With proper planning, we can help protect your life savings and get you the Medicaid and nursing home benefits you deserve.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Worth Ave Gross, our firm will solve your problem.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross, our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Fav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Fav Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
All right, we're back. All right, so John and Laura, what do you guys think?
Well, I'm looking at their expenditures. They're not spending a whole lot of money on food or clothing or entertainment or anything, so I don't see a lot of places to cut.
Well,
How are you going to solve the problem, Brian?
well, you got to get rid of the debt. Got to get rid of the expenses that shouldn't exist. The credit card debt, the hospital bills. Got to get the student loans under control. Okay, if we can.
Yeah, so if you can get rid of the credit card debt, $1,750. If you could get rid of the student loan payment of $350, if you could get rid of the second mortgage payment, then all of a sudden we're generating $2,300, and they go from negative $1,600 to positive $700.
Sure. So, John and Laura.
Can they do that?
Yeah, how do
yes,
you do that?
absolutely, they can do it.
I can't believe it. How could they do that?
Well, I have a magic wand. And I have a finger that can press enter on a computer. So enter is the more
so
effective
you're like
one.
one of those accountants that does tax returns. You just sit there with the person, you talk for a few minutes, you throw everything into the computer, you push a button, and voila, you have a tax return and you have a bankruptcy. Is that how it works? Or is it a little more complicated?
It's a tad bit more complicated, just a tad. Okay, so here's the reality for John and Laura. They can go down either road. They can go down a Chapter 7 road or a Chapter 13 road. We're going to look at both. The possibility exists that John and Laura make too much money to qualify for a Chapter 7.
Let me cut you off for a second. What's the difference between the two? What's the benefit?
Okay. Right.
Chapter 7
Now-
accomplishes what?
Chapter 7 is a debt elimination bankruptcy. We wipe out the debts and we get you a fresh start. And what we're doing is we're eliminating the personal responsibility to pay. The credit cards, they're gone. They're no longer collectible. The personal responsibility to pay the medical bills, they're gone.
What about the student loan?
The student loan we cannot discharge in an ordinary bankruptcy. If you choose to try to seek to discharge a student loan, you have to file a lawsuit against the student loan lender inside of the bankruptcy called an adversary complaint. And in order to qualify, you have to pass what's called the Brunner test. The Brunner test, let me put it this way, unless you have a lung hanging out and you're about to die and you have no ability to make a living again in the future, you can't discharge your student loans.
That's the case that says if you have a cat, you can't.
Yeah, there was a case where a lady had a cat. It cost her $10 a month, and because she was paying $10 a month for her cat, even though she only had $600 of Social Security income and had no chance of ever making any more money again in her life, they didn't discharge her student
All right,
loans.
so bottom
it's
line,
that hard.
In the Chapter 7, it's fast. You get rid of the credit card debt. You get rid of the hospital bills.
You also
don't get rid of the student loan debt.
Nope. But
you don't get rid of the second mortgage.
Well, you do and you don't. You eliminate your personal responsibility to pay on that mortgage. So let's just say you are in that house, it's underwater, and you decide that you're going to live there for 3 more years. And then you've accomplished your goals. Your kids are out of high school, your kids are out of college, you don't need that house anymore. It's still worth less than what you owe on it. At that point, because you filed the Chapter 7, you literally can walk away from the house, not worry about the fact that you owe more on it than it's worth, because you actually don't owe any money on
So
the
you
house.
can't get sued for that deficiency.
Right. The lender is owed money, but from the house. And the only relief they have, it's called in rem relief. The only thing they can do is go get the land, get the house. They can't go get you to pay them because you discharge that in a bankruptcy.
So if I file a Chapter 7, I'm John. I get rid of the credit card debt. I discharge my obligation to pay the second mortgage, but I have to keep paying it if I'm worried about them foreclosing, which they probably won't on the second mortgage because the house is underwater.
Right.
I get rid of the hospital bills. It takes how long? 3-6 months?
You know, if you're ready to file, you've got all your documents and we're ready to go, it's 4 months from start to finish. And that includes the time for the government to send you his paperwork.
Did you mention Chapter 7 first because it's preferable to Chapter 13?
Well, Chapter 7 is still the least costly, most effective methodology to eliminate debt. At the end of the day, if you want to get rid of your debt and move on with no strings attached, that's the best way to do
You
it.
keep the IRAs. You keep the $7,000 of cash. You keep your personal property. You're in good shape in that situation. It doesn't do what we call a lien strip. But here, let me ask you this question before we get to the break. Do they qualify for a Chapter 7 on these numbers? Because they're making net income of $6,000 a month.
You know, as a
I
family-
hear about this thing called the means test.
Okay, so the means test is this arbitrary and capricious set of standards set forth by Congress. Remember to vote. That.
How does it really feel?
Yeah.
That
Okay,
established,
who should we vote
that
for?
established a test.
That's a whole different show.
Anybody that isn't in office right now. It established a test that you take your income minus your allowable expenses. And so this is, and if you have a negative number or a very small positive number left over, you're going to pass the means test, therefore qualify for a Chapter 7. The best way to feel it out is when you spend all your money on your housing, your electric, your gas, your water, your groceries, is there anything left over? If there's something left over, even $300 a month left over, you're likely to qualify for a Chapter 13. Whether you pass or fail the means test, that's test number 1. Test number 2 is the income and expense test. Is there any money left over? So we do 2 analyses
John and
to determine
Laura's
whether or
case,
not they're going to qualify.
If we plot the numbers up on the board and we get rid of, when you do that, you eliminate and you assume if they're not paying their unsecured debt. So I take away the credit card debt, I take away the hospital bills,
Take away the student loans.
I take away the student loans. If I do that and they're plus $500 to $700 a month,
then
does that mean they're going to fail the means test?
It means that they're not going to qualify for a Chapter 7.
And then you go into a Chapter 13?
Then you look at a Chapter 13.
Now, do you have a little leeway in terms of working that budget to try and get it to fit to a 7 or fit to a 13?
Sure we do, because most people have a crushed budget when they're in debt, meaning that they are skimping, cutting back, they're doing the bare minimum. Our goal is when we look at a budget, we want you to be able to live, eat, breathe, and sleep peacefully.
So you can kind of fit it together sometimes to get to the 7 if you want, or get to the 13 if
Yes.
you want.
I'm going to disagree with you. Most people like that in debt are not scrimping and saving. They're going crazy buying stuff. That's why their debt's so high to begin with. Had they scrimped and saved, they wouldn't have all that.
Well,
I think you're picking on them. People that come in, they're stressed. I
Now
see
they are,
stress.
for sure.
Did I hear Brian for Congress somewhere? Is that
Oh,
what I
Brian
heard?
for Congress.
oh no.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you're approaching retirement and don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your investments, and your savings. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Putting a solid strategy in place with Samasco Law legally protects your assets as well as your wishes. Since a will doesn't cover you medically or financially, Samasco Law goes beyond ordinary asset management protection to safeguard everything you have.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Thav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Time to do announcements. All right, I want to remind our viewers to listen to us Tuesdays noon to 1, 6 to 7 p.m. Law and Reality Live on WCHB 1200 AM 99.9 FM. And on Thursdays 3 to 4, Law and Reality Now with Cliff Russell on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation, and that's also streaming on their website. We got seminars coming up. First seminar coming up is It's Fall, Time for the Debt to Fall. It's Wednesday, September 28th, 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. at our offices in Bingham Farms. We're going to go through all the issues that we talk about on the show about how to preserve future income for you and your family. It's more about saving money in the future. The mechanism is getting rid of the debt, but the concentration is on going forward so that you have money in your pocket to retire with. You're not sitting there at retirement age broke. Another seminar coming up is an estate planning seminar, and it's called It's Too Late to Protect Your Children When You're Dead. you need an estate plan. I thought we'd come up with a little bit more blunt kind of a topic for the next seminar. It's Wednesday, October 19th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. By the way, if you attend the debt seminar, It's Time to Fall, you get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. If you attend the Wednesday, October 19th seminar, we're going to go through all of the elements of an estate plan, why people need one, and we're going to cover the problem of the fact that people procrastinate when it comes to doing an estate plan. And the way we're going to cover that is, if you attend that seminar, we're going to offer a phenomenal discount package deal for an estate plan, but you have to attend the seminar in order to get that package and that availability. So remember, that's October 19th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Seating is limited. You sign up at both seminars at thavgross.com or lawandreality.com, or you can always call our offices at 888-235-HELP. Go to our websites, thavgross.com, lawandreality.com. We've got free reports. We've got Pat Simasko's report on Social Security. We have a report on forming a business and 14 available sources for funding a new business besides commercial banks. And we have Reg X, how to save your home using Reg X, the hidden secrets in order to prevent and stop foreclosure. I want to thank our sponsors, Thav Gross, Simasko Law. Now let's take a break and then we'll be back.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
A lifetime of hard work. If you don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your savings, and more. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Simasko Law wants you to know that laws are changing. Today, the average cost of nursing home care is $85,000 a year. With proper planning, we can help protect your life savings and get you the Medicaid and nursing home benefits you deserve.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Simasko Law today.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Thav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Thav Gross today, 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so Brian, John and Laura, you've given us the analysis of a Chapter 7, and you've also said the possibility of a Chapter 13, because if after we hold off and we're not going to pay their unsecured debt, they have extra income, they might not pass the means test. What's the benefit for them in this case of a Chapter 13?
All right, so assuming that...
And how does it work?
Assuming that John and Laura need a Chapter 13 or don't qualify for the Chapter 7, so we're looking to the next opportunity, we look at Chapter 13. Now, what we're going to do with the Chapter 13 in this case is we're going to do a lien strip. A lien strip is the removal of the second mortgage. As long as the house is worth less than what's owed on the first mortgage, we can eliminate the second mortgage and treat it like a Visa or a MasterCard, a hospital bill. It's a general unsecured debt. Ripping it off of the house, removing it, and paying it as little as 0 cents on the dollar over the lifetime of the Chapter 13.
Now let me make a big point here, because remember, go back to the facts. The house right now is worth $250,000 and the first mortgage is $255,000. You get rid of that second mortgage, this house is going to return to equity quickly, and all of a sudden they're building an asset again. So it's a great thing to occur.
With the opportunity that is occurring with real estate now, and growth being, let's say, an average of 4% a year, by the end of the Chapter 13, there's going to be considerable equity in the house. and you've thrown away the $30,000 second mortgage. We're restructuring the debt, allowing John and Laura to pay back what they can afford. And one of the neat things about this is that at the end of the day, we've got the Chapter 13, we've eliminated the second mortgage, we've grown equity in the house over time, we've got no credit card debt, we've got no hospital bills. We're still stuck with the student loans.
Right.
Well, how does that work in the Chapter 13?
Well, they're going to get a piece of the pie. If there's any money being distributed to the unsecured creditors,
So that portion will reduce the student loan debt.
it will.
Okay.
But this is a reason why, and I'm going to jump a little bit, why we might want to do a Chapter 20 for John and Laura.
Right.
So
If you did a 7, if you could do the 7 first.
if you do a Chapter 7 first, and then you do a Chapter 13
I
afterwards.
never heard of a Chapter 20.
Well, it's a combination of the 7 and
Yeah.
the 13.
It's 2 cases.
So,
But they're not simultaneous.
no, they're
after
one
the
after another. So you do the Chapter 7, you eliminate all the debts that can be wiped out. Now what's left? The second mortgage is still on the house, right? And the student loan is still there. So now, instead of having $75,000 worth of student or credit card debt and $25,000 worth of medical bills to take a piece of the pie, the student loan is, which is owed $40,000 or $45,000, is sharing a piece of the pie with only the second mortgage, which is an unsecured debt. It gets more of the money that's
It's paid down
available.
faster.
Right.
And it does get paid down faster, and we still eliminate the second mortgage. Lots of opportunity.
Very cool. Let me point something out, because people often think Chapter 13 is 5 years. Oh, that's so horrible, because the nice thing about a 7 is it's quickly. But let's take John and Laura. If we did a Chapter 13, where are they going to be in 5 years? Their house today is $250. Let's assume it's $260 in 5 years, not even at 4% growth, less. Their IRAs are going to grow. At 5% growth, their IRAs grow from $45 for Laura to $57,400 for John. Laura's goes from $155,000 to $197,000. Let's assume their cash in the bank and their furniture is the same. Their assets go up from $467,000 to $531,000. Their mortgage is going to go down because they're making payments, and on an amortization schedule would go down from $255 to $251. Not that much, but that's what it goes down. They've got 0 second mortgage. They have 0 credit card debt. They have 0 medical bills. Their student loans, using what you were saying, Brian, will go down from 45 to about 35. At the end of the day, their net worth goes to positive $245,000. That's a $208,000 gain in their net worth at the end of the day. When you think about the big picture, what the big picture is, where are John and Laura going to be in 5, 10, and 20 years? And the Chapter 13 allows that IRA to keep growing so they don't pull it out to pay the credit card debt, which is what every credit card debt collector tells them to do.
Right.
And instead, and then if they did that, they'd have 0 net worth in 5 years. They have the tools available to them to have positive, to gain $208,000 in this bankruptcy. It's a great outcome. People need to look at the reality of the situation. There's a better way. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.